Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Mo again. So, in this section, what we're going to be working with is a merge between 2019 and Windows Server 2022. So, I do have a copy of Windows Server 2019, and I also set up a copy of Windows Server 2022. Well, the first thing that I want to actually do is start changing computer names, IP addresses, and all that before I start telling you what we're going to be doing on this actual server. So, let me just go ahead and open Server Manager. I'm going to just change the computer name on this one to Windows Server 2019 so we know what the server is just based on what it is over here. So let me just go to the system properties, change, and I'm going to call this W 2019. And I'm going to put the suffix as udemy.local, right? And then OK, all the way through and restart. I'm not going to touch the Windows Server 2022 yet. So my main concern over here is to set up Active Directory on a Server 2019 environment. And then I'm going to create some OUs, some users, groups, and then I'm going to try and bring a Windows Server 2022 as a replica, as an additional domain controller. I want to see if that works or not, right? And we'll see. Right. And we're going to be talking more about the domain function level and the forest function level, the schema master. Why do we need to extend the actual schema? That's going to be playing like a big role in this actual section. Yeah. This is one of the last topics that I'll be covering for the class, by the way. And this is a common thing, or we could say we're going to be upgrading from Windows Server 2019 to Windows Server 2022, right? Either way is going to be either a merge or an actual upgrade, right? So let's take a look. I want to go ahead and configure my network settings first. I want to put a static IP address on the server. I want to install DNS, create a zone, do the right thing in terms of like promoting the server to a domain controller. So let's see. Give it a few seconds. So we could actually configure the network settings. Like all the labs that I've been doing on 2019 is the same thing on 2022, by the way. That's why I'm trying to do a merge here, right? There's like a few differences between both servers. Like 2022 supports more security, more integration into Azure, which is called Intra right now. But everything else is the same. And guess what? Windows Server 2019 is the most common server that is used in a corporate organization. Companies don't tend to upgrade whenever there's a new server, right? So we're still going to be looking at 2019 for a long time. A lot of companies are still running Windows Server 2016, by the way. So that's a combination of 2016, 2019, and some you'll see 2022, right? So let me just take a look and see what IP I got over here. So I got 164. So I'm going to put that in statically, right? I'm not using IP version 6. So I'm going to put this in statically, 164. Let's go back, 192, 168, 223, 164, and DNS is going to be pointing to itself, but the gateway is 2, and DNS is 223.164. Then okay, then okay, then close. My next step over here is to install Active Directory domain services and DNS, but I want to do DNS first, all right? Watch this. I want to actually install both of them at the same time. So here's DNS and Active Directory domain services. So Active Directory domain services and DNS, all right? Next, and install. Because once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and create a zone. What I could do in the meantime is, while waiting for this, the IP here is 164. I could go to my 2022 server. See that? This is a 2022. Let me open Server Manager, right? Put a static IP, and DNS should be pointing to the 2019 server anyway, right? So I'm going to change this to Windows Server 2022. So I'm just going to call this W, right, 2022. And click OK, right? And OK and restart. Then I could do the network settings right now before I actually restart the system. That's fine. Status details. What number do I get? 163, and my DNS will be 164. So let me just get rid of version 6, version 4. So I'm going to put 163, 223, 163. The gateway is 2, and DNS pointing to the 2019 server because this is going to be a replica. 164. All right, then okay, okay, and all the way through. Now I could actually restart my system. Close and restart. There you go. And what I could also do on this server is install Active Directory domain services, just the role. I'm not promoting anything yet. Let me take a look and see my 2019 server. It's still installing. All right. So instead of wasting time, I could actually do Active Directory domain services on this actual server first. And that's what I want to do. So if you work on 2019, you can work on 2022. As I said, the most common that you will see is a Windows Server 2019 in a corporate organization. Let's give this a few seconds. Should be reaching the log on screen. And when it comes up to clients, you'll have a combination of Windows 10 and Windows 11. Most likely, you'll see Windows 10. Like for home base, I'm sure you probably have Windows 11 if you purchased a laptop from the past few, year or two. But Windows 10 is a lot common in a corporate organization, and Windows 11 is getting more secure with the latest hot fixes, patches, and let's say updates, of course. So let me log on to the system over here and I want to install Active Directory domain services so I could prepare the server for the future when we're going to actually make it as a replica. Right? Let's take a look. Server manager. Right? And remember, this is a standard edition desktop experience. That's the ISO we downloaded. So it's the same steps as the way we installed Windows Server 2019. Let's give this a moment. And we're going to install the role right now. All right. Manage. Okay, still refreshing. I could look at a full screen in the meantime, just to make sure. There we go. All right, still refreshing. See here, it's actually moving, right? So there you go. Now I should be actually fine in a few seconds. Let me try. Look, if I try again right now, I should be able to get it. Next, next, next. That's IP 222 standard, all right? And Active Directory domain services. Then next, 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 and all the way through. All right, let me go back to my 2019 server and see what's there. There you go. I'm not going to do the promotion yet. I'm going to open DNS. I'm going to do it the right way. So I'm going to create a zone called udemy.local, right, under forward lookup zones. So this is a right way of doing it, right? So next, next, and udemy.local, right? And so that's the actual name of the domain, which is the zone name, all right? And allow both dynamic updates. And I should see 3 records if I did everything right. There you go. Now I could promote. Look at this, promote the server to a domain controller. And I'm going to add a new forest on this one, right? This is add a new forest. And I'm going to make it, of course, Udemy, right? Dot. It realized there's nobody out there, udemy.local on my network. So I'm going to leave the forest and domain function level as 2016. Put a password, right? Go next. See, DNS passed. I didn't get that error message. And let's take all the defaults. Next. And let's go next. Right. Next. All right. And then we'll do the actual installation. And I'll pause the video until it comes up. Then we'll resume and continue to show you what actually happened. Let's give it a moment and install. All right, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pause the video. And when it's actually done, we're going to come back and take a look at it. So now it's actually starting the installation of promoting the domain controller. So we'll see you guys in a moment. All right, look at this. It's back. Didn't take that long, just 5 minutes. Let me go ahead and log on. What I want to do over here is I want to create some organizational units and some users and groups just to fill in Active Directory users and computers. So we don't have the database empty, right? So let's wait until Server Manager populates. Because after that, I'm going to try and make my 2022 as an actual replica to the 2019. So let's take a look. So if I go to Tools, Active Directory Users and Computers, right? I want to create some departments and just a few users. That's actually enough, all right? Just to have something in there. So at least when there's a merge, I want to see if the database syncs and replicates from one to another from like the 2019 to the 2022, right? So let's see here. There you go. Udemy.local. So what I'm going to do is I want to create an OU. Let's say the first one is sales and the second one is tech, right? Sales and under sales, let's just generate a computer. Let's say new computer and SPC1. And under tech, I'm going to generate a computer and let's say TPC1. TPC1. Under sales, I want to create let's say two users. So let's say right click, new user and S1. I have to put a password because I didn't change the password policy, right? So I have to put an actual password over here. And I'll leave the check mark in the box. That's fine. And let me do a copy and do S2, right? S2. I'll leave the check mark in the box so the user has a chance to put their own, all right, password. It looks like I did not match the passwords. So let's see. There we go. And I want to create a group and call it SGRP, all right? And double click it and put S1 and S2 members and add S1 and S2. Then okay. Then under the tech, I want to create two users, new user, T1 and T2. All right, let me put a password. It's not matching. Remember, it has to be complex, all right? And T2. There we go. And T2. Password and the password here. And let me create a group, all right? TGRP. I don't have any other domain controller, so there's no way it's going to sync anywhere else, all right? And T1 and T2, right? And T2. There we go. Then okay. All right, that's it for this lecture. In our next lecture, I'm going to try and bring my 2022 as an additional domain controller to the domain. So we'll see you folks soon. All right, then. Bye, everyone.